There, water pump is off. It's just held on by 10mm bolts on the front. So this is out, along with all the hoses that go with it. I also removed the flywheel. This is held on by 14mm bolts. I had to put the screwdriver in the bottom just to keep it from turning. But once I take the short block off the engine stand, then this thing will come right out. So I guess the next thing to do is probably to flip this over and then remove the bits from underneath. And then I can take this off of here, put it on a bench, and then split the two halves. I might look at taking the pistons out first. I think I have to take these two out, but anyways, I'll see about that. There you got the tray and the pickup off the bottom. It's all held in by 10mm bolts. And this one for the oil filter pickup, that looks like that was about a 15/16. There, I got the oil pump off, and also this little bracket that goes here. I guess the next step is I'll need either a 13 or 14mm Allen key to get these two off, and that's how I access my pistons to get them out. I might need a tool to pull the pins out of the pistons. Once I get the pistons off, I should be ready to split the block in half. But I've got two of those at the back as well. I don't know if you can see these. They're kind of in here somewhere. Anyways, I'll have to take this off the engine stand and put it on a bench to get to the backside ones. It looks like I've got some plate on here that needs to come off once this is off the stand. But yeah, it's almost finished. Okay, until I get my tools, I think I'm going to just take the heads apart, starting with the pulleys. Let's see, that's a 17mm. There, it looks like somebody was in here at one time doing something, because they got this this one bolt all chewed up. I think they must have gone in here with a chisel or something trying to get the sprocket off. Anyways, the sprockets came off pretty easily for me once I took the bolt out. So the heads look pretty flat. It's not exactly the best straight edge, but I don't see much rocking or much gap in the center. So I thought I had a bit of rocking on this one, but don't think they're too bad. But anyways, yeah, the decision's been made to junk them over, so there we go. There, for the rocker arm bolts, these are 12mm, and the tightening sequence is, I believe it starts with this. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'm going to loosen them in the opposite sequence, starting here and working diagonally in. Here I've got 16 bolts holding the carrier for the camshaft on. They're the order that they're tightened, I guess. Let's see, I think it starts with 1, 2, 3, 4. And we go 5, 6, let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then there's I think 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 and 16 are the ends here. Anyways, there's 3 different types. There's most of these are a T40 Torx. Then we also have I guess it's a 5mm hex, and then the 10mm. Before we get this one out, I'm going to have to pry off the sensor mount. And then anyways, I'm going to get these out and then see if I can lift this thing off. go breaking this right after getting it. I need a longer socket. But anyways, the other thing I was going to do is to take off my springs. I don't have a spring compressor, but I do have a socket and a hammer. I've seen this work. The thing to watch out for is the keepers tend to fly out. Yeah, if you're planning to reuse the head and reuse your valves, you probably want to get the proper spring compressor. But since I'm mostly just taking this apart to junk, I'm not as worried. It's almost, there we go. Just like that. There's another one. Retainers everywhere now. There, one head's done. Let's see if we can quickly get this next one done. I've already loosened this first bolt here. I'm just going to pull that out. There we go. I got an M14 bit from my impact that fits these. So I've taken the first one out. I don't know if you can see inside there, but there's a little clip. Let's see if we can get in here closer. But yeah, there's a little clip in there. I probably need my cotter pin pliers to snap that out. There you go. And then that pin should come out. I think that's all perfectly aligned. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and do this other side and then see if I can find my cotter pin pliers. Yeah, it just comes out like that. Now on the back side, it looks like I've got these two plates instead of those caps. I had to use an impact driver. You see that to get some of these screws out because they're in pretty good. So just finish taking these out and then have a look at what's behind. We need some. There, that looks pretty much just like the other one. So I'll take off this and then see if I can get those pins out. There, the next step is to get the cotter pins and the piston pins out, or not the snap rings and then the piston pins out. For the snap rings, my cotter pin pliers work. It's just a matter of getting in here, like, I don't know if you can see that, but last one went pretty good, so this one's probably not going to work at all, but oops, yeah, it's not going to work. There we go, that comes out. The piston pin's a little trickier. For the last one, there's a special tool you need for it, but the last one I just used this blind hole slide hammer. Anyways, I put that in all the way like this, and Here's my wrench. It's an 11/16. I'm sure everybody's is different. Now, with that in, I have to check in here to make sure that, let's see, is that turning or sliding? Okay, I think I got it. I think I got it turning now. Once it's turning, it usually comes right out. Okay. There we go. One more pin. Here's a helpful little hint. Once you get the first side done, you can tap the pins out from the other side in case you can't quite get a good grip on them. Here's another thing I had to do is the little dowels that go here. They're hollow, the bolts go through them. I just put in, they're about 1 inch inner diameter, so I just slid an extension through and then gripped onto them with a vice grip, and they pretty much slide out like that. There, the first step in getting the block apart is to remove these 12mm bolts. I've got, let's see, one there, and I've got 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's see, it's that pattern. Anyways, this is just a little bit too big to fit in there. I don't want to, might be able to jam it in, but I'm kind of afraid. So I think I might have to see if I can get another socket that's a little smaller, because my other 12mm is the hex, and yeah, the hex won't go on there. So anyways, I'm going to take these ones out and then maybe flip it over, because I also have kind of the same bolts on this side as well. I've got a couple 12s there, and I think the rest of it from this side, these are also 12s, but they're just the regular hex, so I can probably put the impact and get that one off. But anyways, I'm going to see if I can go around and loosen as many of these bolts as I can, and then when I get another socket, I can get the last of these out. There, on this side of the engine, I guess this would be the actual left, where you have cylinders 2 and 4. Looks like you've got, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 of these weird 12mm, and then you've got some regular ones. Let's see, there's one here. You've got 4 or 5 on this side. There's one right here that's difficult to get to. I was able to get a wrench on it, and that came out. So anyways, I think I'm going to do, and then there's also one in here that I can probably get to with the wrench. So anyways, I'm going to see if I can get the impact on the ones I can get, and then see if I can get my wrench on this guy on these other ones. This one seems to fit in here into this one all right, so maybe we'll start with that. There, I got the last of the bolts that hold the 2 sides of the engine block together. What I had to do was I tried finding a 12mm 12-point that was a 3/8 drive, but none of the stores I looked at had the one, so I ended up buying another 12mm 1/2-inch drive. So I took my old one and just kind of grinded it down until it fit in here, and then I was able to get these off. So I guess the next thing to do is probably to separate the halves. Let's see if I can find my screwdriver and see if I can pry it anywhere. It might be kind of started here. Otherwise, I might see if I can get something to kind of push apart on these 2 points here. I did try to, with a bolt and a socket like that. I might give this another try here like this. Oops, wrong way. Might need an actual bolt. This one's kind of not flat. But anyways, I'll give that a try and see how it works. There, I got a bolt and a nut and a socket. And I was able to use that to kind of pry this apart at those two points and get it started. And I think I'll just get in here. And well, block's not going to get used, so I think I'm just going to pry it apart with a screwdriver. If you want to use your block, you probably want to be a little more careful than I'll be. But anyways, I'll see if I can get this thing separated and see how it looks. There, I managed to take I did have to kind of jab a screwdriver in here and pry it apart, which is not a good idea if you plan to reuse the block.
Not optimal.
Not optimal, but anyways, it's apart. I'm just going to flip it over one side here. And there, I got the block apart and the crank out. I'm not seeing anything indicative of any catastrophic failures. I mean, there's no play. There's a little bit of side-to-side play here, but not a lot of back and forth. I do see some grooves in this bearing. It's just enough I can feel it on my fingernail, but that's more indicative of 100,000+ miles on the car, not so much that it had chocolate milk for coolant. I don't see anywhere where it'd be making a knocking noise. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and remove all my end cap or my cap bolts there and see what those ones look like. Let's see if these come off very easy or very tough. Oops, one off. There, the connecting rods are all off. I'm not seeing a lot of really bad wear. Certainly nothing indicative of a rod knock. There's some scoring on the main bearings, but it's more indicative of just the miles on the engine than anything really catastrophic. But anyways, that's probably about all I can take apart here. So I think this is pretty much done. I might pop the cylinder or the pistons out of the cylinders, but otherwise I think this is all going into the recycling pile and getting hauled away for scrap.